Talking late night, raw paper, late flights, young barracuda watching for them great whites, way bright stage lights, they might just take the pipe if I play it right, egg tight, go bananas, take a bite, hold the hammers, might take your life in your pajamas, play it right and take a hike to Alabama, I'm gone. I be in and out the spot, I ain't got no time to talk, nigga, I'm gone. I be on and off the road, I be living like a boss, nigga, I'm gone. Shawty do it like a pitcher, knock the pussy out the park, nigga, I'm gone. We been racing to the money, I been winning from the start, nigga, I'm gone.
As the founder of Immjuss LLC, I am proud to offer services that can help improve your mood and overall quality of life. I understand the importance of self-care and mental health. I have dedicated my time to discovering how art, music, and smells can help bring joy into people's lives. Immjuss LLC offers a wonderful collection of paintings, extraordinary scented candles made with natural herbs and flowers, consulting services for advice and listening, as well as moon water. Visit immjussllc.com. No matter your needs or desires, you'll find something special here.
What's up, you guys? It's your good sis. Oh my god, you guys, I'm so sorry. Hold on. My computer, everything is like messing up. Okay, it's back. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. My daggone connection was cutting up. I was trying to get everything together, but it was messing up on your good sis. On your good sis. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me get myself together. Let me get this together. Let me get everything together. Because I want to talk about this. I want to talk about, I didn't even share. I was on here trying to get all this, get connected. And because things got messed up. But let's talk about what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about the Katt Williams and the Joe Rogan interview. I don't know if you guys saw this or if you guys watched it. I really hope that you did, because that would have been, hold on. That would have been really good if you guys had watched it. Um it was so much, like it was so much information in this interview. Hold on, let me share to all of my social medias, to my different social medias. Okay. um I should have did this when I was I should have did this when I was when you guys when I was waiting, but I didn't. So let me do it now. I had to go get the grandbabies today. So my grandbabies is here, y'all. And yeah. So I'm sorry. Let me get this together. All right. So let's go on and let's get to it. This isn't how I really wanted this to be set up. However, this is how it's going to be set up because I couldn't get my stuff together in time. But this was a really good interview. Katt Williams, he had a lot to talk about. Him and Joe Rogan getting together, they had a really, really good discourse back and forth. And it was a lot of key points. It was a lot of key points that was made between the two of them. So I want to start with the first thing. They spoke on self-driving cars and giving up your rights for a safer road. I spoke about this before. I've spoken about, things like this a lot. So let's get to it.
Safety.
Yeah.
It's like it gets to
Thrills.
the essence of a being.
And I think it's a thing that won't exist 100 years from now. I think automated driving will be mandatory. I really do. I think we're about
Well,
100 years away. 100 years away from no personal automobiles. No control of your vehicle. We're going to stop all crashes. We could stop all crashes and all highway deaths. Come on, Katt. Won't you contribute and give up all your rights to drive? We're going to stop all death.
yeah, it's not, but understand that all of these things have financial benefits, and then they use those perks you just mentioned to get you in. But
yeah,
but
somebody's making money.
I believe that it'll be mandatory. But
Oh my God, my sound was off. That is crazy. My bad, y'all. But yeah, it's going to be like let me make sure my sound is good. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm having technical difficulties. All right, there you go. All right, you guys, y'all are going to take. They're not going to take your rights. You guys are going to give them away. Okay, and so yeah, today is a day. Today is a day. When I tell y'all today is a day, today is a day. So yeah, let's finish listening to this.
But for practical reasons, like this thing where the police want you and they have to chase you and you may get away, those days are done.
Yeah, they're just
You
gonna
see what I'm
shut your car off. Yeah.
your car is going to do what they
Yeah.
tell it to do,
Yeah.
which is get behind this patrol car and follow us to the station.
And they're going to put the not only are they going to have you follow their cars to the station, they're going to put child locks onto the cars, so you can't go nowhere. You can't jump out the car, you can't put the windows down, you can't leave, you can't exit. All right, none of that.
There's
Lock the
speculation
doors,
that
like,
they've had that for a long time, you know. There was that famous journalist, Michael Hastings, that was his name. There's this journalist. I don't know if you know the story, but it's pretty crazy. This guy went to Afghanistan. So Afghanistan with the troops, and he was only supposed to be there writing a Rolling Stone article about this general for a very short amount of time. But then there was the volcano in Iceland, and the volcano in Iceland stopped air travel. So this journalist from the Rolling Stone was embedded in this troop, and they started talking shit. And he started reporting the shit that they were talking, including disparaging comments that the general had said about Obama. So the general gets back. He has to retire. He has to, you know, it's the Rolling Stone exposed. It's a big deal.
Like, that's how I knew that things like what you showed me with Hastings, that those were real things.
Yeah.
It's not.
They've always been real.
Everybody who has ever been killed in one of those ways, there was a financial benefit to it. It was obvious. It was easy. You know where it came from.
So with that story, they're saying that the man, the journalist that told about the general, his car, you know, seemingly sped into a tree at 120 miles an hour. And this is after the journalist, had repeatedly said he's not suicidal, he doesn't want to kill himself, you know, so on and so forth. So what he's saying is there has been, you know, for a while, people have been able to, or the government, shall I say, has been able to control vehicles. So, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm still sharing my daggone life. All right. So, that was the first thing that they spoke about that I felt was, you know, it was pretty interesting, you know. And let me tell you about Joe Rogan. I believe Joe Rogan and the Joe Rogans of the space of, what is it? Can I say the meta space? No. People like Joe, they're controlled oppositions. Like, you don't want to have, if you have an echo chamber, they're not going to believe that they're not controlled by the elites. They need people around that the public will believe isn't on that side, if you understand what I'm saying. And so I believe Joe Rogan knows about a lot of the things that he's talking about, but I believe that he is out here to put just enough misinformation out there to where, as though, you know, to keep people, how can I put it, stupid. That's not the word I wanted to use, but he puts just enough misinformation out there. He puts information out there with enough misinformation to where, as though, you know, we know a little bit, but not enough to actually try to make a change with anything. So you got Joe Rogan, you got the other guy, the InfoWars guy, You have, and when he tried to tell the truth about certain things, they got on his ass. The InfoWars guy, they got on his ass. So he knows better now. He done did his apology world tour and all that other stuff. You gotta watch the people who these players talk to, who shows they go on, who they speak to, and how they speak when they're on their shows. We with him and Katt Williams, this is why I'm not gonna hold y'all. I'm doing a little side eye with Katt. And the reason why I am, and I said that before, because some of the things that he did symbolically shown that he was now, with the ish. I'm telling you, you gotta have oppositional, controlled opposition. So after they kind of messed with Katt's kids, I do believe after they did that, he kind of was like, you know what, fine, y'all got it. And so that's when he was talking about being stung. And he knows, that when you shake the hornet's nest, sometimes it's to your detriment. And so I do believe he's watching what he's saying a lot. They both are. And Joe Rogan kind of plays dumb in this interview a lot. A lot. And well, hold on. Katt Williams said something. I got my notes. He had said, Katt said, alcohol was named spirits because it was a gift from God. He know. Now, if Katt is as smart as we think he is, he know that ain't why alcohol is called spirits. He knows that. So everybody is going to show their true intentions. All right. All right. So let's go to the next timestamp. All right. So the next timestamp, y'all, is when he's speaking about the Thoth and the emerald tablets. So I want to go to that.
Even Tesla says that this is where he came to get the information. But if you follow that information pathway, it leads you to this character called Thoth, right? And the emerald tablets of Thoth are literally mind changing and mind blowing, just because you understand when this was written and the terminology being used is
when was it written?
Far too accurate for now. So I'm sure that
here it is.
And not only that, he doesn't answer a lot of the questions, y'all. Like, he has asked questions and hey, April, sis. He has asked questions and he isn't answered. Like, a lot of the questions aren't being answered. But you're good, sis. I got the look, I looked it up for y'all. All right, so let's talk about Thoth. First of all, Thoth, he was the god of knowledge, the moon, measurements, wisdoms, and the alphabet, records, thoughts, intelligence, meditation, the mind, logic, reasons, reading, hieroglyphics. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Magic, secrets, scribes, and writing. He also went by other names in the myth of ancient civilizations. He's pretty much play a major god. He pretty much play a major god. They all of them same soul, different identities. So what they're saying is, it's the same soul but different names. All right. Soth or Dijunti was one of the deities from the Egyptian pantheon in art. He was often depicted as a man with the head of an ibis or a baboon animal sacred to him. His feminine counterpart was Shashet, and his wife was Ma'at. Okay. His temple was located in the city of Kamum, later called Hermopius. Child, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know what that is. He played a vital, prominent role in Egyptian mythology. Okay, it says he played a crucial role in the design and in the orientations of many famous pyramids, temples, and zizashuas. I don't know what that is, but yeah. What you say? Hold on. What you say, sis? You said, I think we are more comfortable speaking around our people than others. He felt that he could speak more freely around Shannon. You know what? Not only that, sis, but I also think that when he went to speak with Shannon, he spoke with Shannon. He had a goal. You know, he had a goal when speaking with Shannon. His goal was to come on and combat what Monique and them was saying about him. However, how can I put this? Like I said, Joe Rogan is controlled opposition. Like, and if you like Joe, I believe he's friends with Elon Musk. I believe him and Elon are friends. So, later on in this interview, he kind of, I'm not gonna say poke digs at Elon. However, he does say things about Elon. And the crazy thing is that Joe, he agreed. Especially when it came to like the mark of the beast and stuff like that. All right, so let's go to the ancient emerald tablets, because I got my notes right here. The emerald tablets, also known as tabula, child, don't get me trying to say this, is a mysterious element of the Hermetic belief to hold secrets behind transmutation. Look, let me tell you, the emerald tablets, they also it's also said that they hold the secret to how to what is that? Consciousness, how to transfer consciousness. When you transfer your mind into different bodies and shit, stuff like that. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to curse. It says European alchemists held it in the highest regard, and it came from the basis of the Hermetic traditions in art. The name Hermes as its origins in the name of Thoth, because remember I had said Thoth had many names. The Egyptian god of wisdom, and Hermes, one of the Greek gods, Trismegistus. Don't get me lying, y'all. Might be translated to mean thrice greatest, in reference to the passage of the emerald tablets. Okay. So, hold on. The origin of the tablets. It was written by Thoth, y'all. They look, they make a whole story for what? For nothing. So, it says the secret formula of the emerald tablets, the transmutation of consciousness. See, and I do believe that this was one of the things that was learned when y'all remember in the story of the Knights Templar? Was it the Knights Templar that went down to the Middle East, and they went down there for something, and they said that they found the Ark of Covenant? I'm not going to hold y'all. I do believe that, and when they came back from there, they learned how to do the whole banking system, and it was some text that they had learned. And when they came back, they had started doing dark arts and stuff like that, and they got thrown out. Child, it's a whole thing. I'll do another video about that. Let me tell you, y'all, when I'm turned around to the other side and y'all see all my books and my encyclopedias and stuff, I really read I really read those. Your good sis really read those. And so it's a lot in those books, y'all. It's a lot in those books. So yeah, that's the emerald tablets. And so Hermes, Mercury, and Odin, those are names that Thoth go by. All right. So, and I'm trying to do this. I'm trying not to it's a 3-hour thing, but I'm trying not to make it a 3-hour live, y'all. I'm trying to do this quickly as I possibly can. So let's go to the next thing. The next thing I want to talk about, y'all, because this one was kind of my favorite. I ain't gonna hold y'all. All right, hold on. That's too far. Let me see. Is that all right?
Of these things are based on things like even the Smurfs story, right?
The Smurfs are based on something?
Well, religious people would say, "Oh, you can't watch the Smurfs because it's bad because they have witchcraft and stuff in there." But the whole thing is it's based on this, the homunculus, the idea that you can create a human life form without a mother or a father.
All right. First, I want to talk about the. Did you guys know there was a lot of theories about the Smurfs? I only knew about one, but let me tell you guys about a couple of the theories about the Smurfs and what they meant and what they mean. Because I went down the rabbit hole of the theory that I knew when it came to alchemy, and the fact that when you eat like gold or if you eat silver, your body turns blue. And in reference to blue bloods. I don't know if you guys remember how they call, the elites back in the days blue blood, and how that could be, uh put interpreted and in a way we can like put that with the Smurfs and the avatars. But the avatars is a whole different movie. Child, the avatars really go deep. So, especially when you understand that an avatar is just the body that a spirit goes into, it's like an empty vessel. Avatar has many different meanings, but we're on Smurfs now, y'all. All right, so one of the theories about Smurfs, right, is that the Smurfs, each of the main characters is one of the seven deadly sins. So you have Smurfette is lust, and she's the only woman. All right. And did y'all know that Smurfette in one of the cartoons, it shows that they turned Smurfette from a man to a woman. So Smurfette was really a transgender. I don't know. Come on, I don't know. I'm just saying. And then you had Baker Smurf, and his sin is gluttony. And then you had Greedy Smurf, and his was avarice, or greed. And then you had Lazy Smurf, and his is sloth. You had Grouchy Smurf, and his was wrath. And you had Envy, and that was enamored Smurf. You know, the one who was just enamored with everything. And then you had Vanity Smurf, and his is pride. So they said that each Smurf was one of the seven deadly sins, right? Then you had uh, uh another one who said that spoke about how the Smurfs was the KKK. And I didn't know, I never heard this one, but however, they said the Smurfs was the KKK. Papa Smurf, with the seven deadly sins, Papa Smurf, he's Satan, of course, because he's red, got the red hat. All right, and with the KKK one, the leader of the KKK wears a red hat, and then the rest of the KKK have white hats. And they said the Smurfs, and Gargamel, they said Gargamel is Jewish. He has the nose and stuff like that. And then it's another one, right, that said that the Smurfs, they live in mushrooms, and they said that there was a saying that the way the Smurfs come to life is that they would lure children into a field, and they would pass away because they didn't have no food or nothing, and under them would grow mushrooms. Under their bodies would grow mushrooms, and that's how the Smurfs was born, and that's why the Smurfs was blue, because they derived from corpse. Child, when I tell you that the rabbit hole runs deep with this mess, we ain't look. It does. It's crazy. All right, so I want to play. Hold on, I want to play. Show you guys. And when it comes to, let's go back because then he speaks on this. Hold on.
Everything is that way,
Yeah.
and that's one of the the science and math go together with the occult and alchemy, and all of these things are based on things like even the Smurfs story, right?
The Smurfs are based on something?
Well, religious people would say, "Oh, you can't watch the Smurfs because it's bad because they have witchcraft and stuff in there." But the whole thing is it's based on this, um, the homunculus, the idea that you can create a human life form without a mother or a father. So
All right, so homunculus. Um, let's talk about. I want you guys. I'm gonna put up a TikTok for you guys. So hold on, you guys can. Let me see. I saw this. This was pretty good. So, what did I just do? Oh, that's
Historical references to the concept of the homunculus is found made out of clay. One of the earliest historical references to the concept of the homunculus is found in the work of the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle. He explored the notion of abiogenesis, or the idea that living organisms could emerge directly from non-living materials. This is referenced to as spontaneous generation. In his work De Generatione Animalium, Aristotle examined the belief that certain life forms like mice and maggots could spontaneously arise from inanimate substances such as soil or grains. It gets really interesting because many
you know, when I was watching this, or when I was watching Katt, and he was speaking about, someone coming to life, or coming up without a mother or a father, it really brought me to the story of creation, of the Adam and Eve story, how Adam was made out of dirt. Shoot, I'm dropping stuff, I'm sorry. And it's wild because that's the first thing that came to my mind, how Adam was made out of dirt. But I genuinely do not believe Adam was the first actual human. I do believe Adam might have been the first actual genetically modified being. That's just me. So let's finish this.
if not all, the ancient Greek philosophers believed in a form of this abiogenesis or spontaneous generation. This was based off an ancient biological science known as preformationism. Preformationism states that organisms develop from miniature versions of themselves. It's important to note that preformationists believe that the form of the living thing exists prior to their development. We'll connect this later. Also, Pythagoras is credited as one of the earliest thinkers to explain the origin of form in biological production, suggesting that the father contributes the essential characteristics of the offspring, while mothers contribute only a material substrate. It's important to note the similarity between supposed ancient Greek Neoplatonic thought and the magical systems used by the alchemists. The question is, were the Greek philosophers secretly alchemists in discussing a different type of biological production? This will all be brought to question. Spontaneous generation can be found in ancient works by revered poets like Ovid. In Ovid's Metamorphoses, he describes the creation of life through alchemical elements, the earth, the air, and water, bring forth, suggesting that living organisms originated from inanimate elements, wind combined with fire. Another ancient Greek author on this subject is Anaximander, who believed that life originated from a primordial mixture of earth and water, and that simpler organisms emerged first, followed by more complex life forms. This arguably is the precursor to modern evolution, as Anaximander suggested that humans initially arose from a different type of animal, possibly a fish or fish-like creature, and that the early human ancestors underwent a process of gradual development and adaptation to life on land. The key difference, other than natural selection, being Anaximander believed in a primordial mixture and the concept of spontaneous creation. There are other authors who speak on this. Interestingly, the Greek philosopher Empedocles, who lived in the 5th century BC, proposed that heavy rainfall mixing with the earth would become fertile and spontaneously generate various life forms. He believed that the combination of water and earth produced a wide range of organisms, including insects and other small creatures. The idea is that these ancient authors, including Aristotle himself, were just simply mistaken.
You know, I really, really like philosophy. That was one of my favorite.
Now, as we progress, we'll be
That
taking
was one of my favorite classes in college. I'm not gonna hold you. I really loved it. Hold on, let me see.
ages.
All right, here's another one. I want you. I didn't finish the last one, but I wanted this another one. It was long. I don't know. Y'all might not have liked it, but I'm about to go to the next one.
Homunculus can essentially be divided into multi-layered definitions because it simply does not refer to one thing. This will be clear as we progress. The ancient practice of creating a homunculus far precedes alchemy, but we'll highlight that the subject of the homunculus is deeply integrated with the deepest secrets of the alchemical and hermetic tradition. Many have interpreted the Philosopher's Stone as simply a means for creating gold.
And you know something crazy? It was one theory saying that it's not funny, but it's funny. It was one theory saying that Gargamel, he was trying to collect all the Smurfs to fill the Philosopher's Stone, which is wild. But we do know Gargamel is an alchemist. Gargamel is an alchemist as well as Papa Smurf was an alchemist. It is so many. The Wizard in the Wizard of Oz, he wasn't. He was fake. But you know, he was supposed to be an alchemist. The Wizard of Oz is full of alchemy. Let me see what else. The witch. The witch in Sleeping Beauty is an alchemist. Oh, Ursula is an alchemist. You know, it's crazy. Well, it's not crazy, but a lot of times with a lot of these Disney characters or a lot of these witches, they just call them witches when they really practice alchemy. So
Gold from base metals. But the bigger secret is that the Philosopher's Stone was used for creating artificial life. The homunculus represents far more than just a tiny man or creature created in a jar. One, it refers to a secret ancient art and knowledge of generation in combination with alchemy or the capturing and moving of souls.
the capturing and moving of souls. I tell people all the time, I tell people a lot, the capturing and the moving of souls. One thing that I try to tell you guys is, and I don't know if I did this video yet, but I know I want to, about the pandemic babies and how the pandemic babies, they seem more advanced and they seem different. And did you guys ever wonder why they want to control the population? Did you guys ever hear the have you ever heard the, what is that, rumor of a soul capturer, or the moon being a soul capturer? Have you ever heard someone say if you die, don't go towards the light because they're going to erase your memory and bring you back here? So y'all got to understand that a lot of the things that people think is fake, is doesn't happen. It does. It actually does. You know, and they have been doing this for decades, for millennia. They have been knowing how to do this. So
2. A secret occult double, a double body, another vehicle for consciousness. 3. The capturing of a soul into a non-living object.
do you guys know in Haiti there's such a thing as a zombie, and they do that by putting your soul in the jar. If they have your soul, then they can make your body do whatever it want to do. I tell people all the time, your free will, bro, your will is so important. Your free will is so important. You know, your soul is important. Y'all got to stop selling y'all soul. Y'all think that is, oh man, you really can't, man. Once you look at Meek Mill, look at Meek Mill. You think Meek Mill really want to be Diddy plaything? Y'all got to stop thinking. Y'all really have to stop thinking that these things are BS. Y'all got to stop thinking that like things like what I'm telling you right now is foolishness, and it can't be done. In a way, Meek Mill is as much of a victim to Puffy. Selling one's soul is not just, how can I put this? When I saw that video of Meek in the pool and he looked like we be looking ladies after we done got a real third leg and we trying to get ourselves together the next morning or the same day on some damn type stuff, I knew then that he has sold himself. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't the only person. Have you got, I mean, that Diddy isn't the only person he sold himself to. Did you guys see the video where Meek was sitting up there hopping like a bunny on a tennis court? Selling your soul. Selling your soul. Like, he can't say no. And I'm pretty sure he's not the only one. Looking back, let me see. It's a few entertainers that seem like they might, Usher might be in that boat. You know what I'm saying? You could, in their eyes, it just, they're not there. It's a feeling, and I can't explain the energetic feeling that I get when I look in their eyes. But it's just it jumps out to me. So
4. Esoteric secrets, which we'll get to towards the end. There's much to cover, and every definition will be explained. But this is a huge subject because the homunculus embodies humanity's quest for forbidden knowledge and our curiosity to uncover the mysteries of life. Many different subjects connect, especially when we connect it with an understanding of alternative history, false timelines, and other subjects we have ages. The homunculus can essentially be divided into multi-layered definitions because it simply does not refer to one thing.
Let me see.
This will be clear as we progress.
This is the third one.
Now, as we progress, we'll be taking a look into the history of secret societies and the use of cryptic occult symbolism. This will assist in understanding how some of this information may have been lost or suppressed over time. The Royal Society was founded by Robert Boyle, who we know was deeply associated with alchemy, and by another figure named Christopher Wren, the famous English architect responsible for rebuilding 52 churches after the Great Fire of, oh, what a coincidence, 1666, which that's a whole story of its own on how it was possibly a setup by the Masons. Forgetting all that, it's well established that Christopher Wren was a Freemason. Therefore, what we're looking at with this revival of alchemy is that during this later time period of the early 1700s, knowledge from a previous generation of elite brotherhoods were lost and discussed between the higher echelons of society. In this case, the scientific elite of the later Enlightenment period were
Wait. Is that a Negro? Okay. You know, I caught that. Like, all right, sis, do you?
period were attempting to rediscover or preserve the secret of the sciences of earlier brotherhoods. So, some people are willing to believe that in the present day, that aliens have the ability to clone, and we've seen this in many movies many times, or that the government is secretly cloning individuals and that there are hidden underground cloning laboratories. Whether this is true or not, if you're willing to consider such possibilities in the modern time, well, it's only fair to consider that similar activities may have occurred in the past as well. Cloning? This could have been the most closely guarded secret of the esoteric societies, which were controlled by the royal elite families during that time. Of course, some may argue that this is because we possess a different technology and scientific understanding today. However, that argument originates from a perspective fed to us by these royal societies, Rosicrucians, Jesuits, and Freemasonic brothers, or the 17th century scientists unveiling new scientific advancements and technological progressions.
When I studied alchemy on my spiritual journey, well, you don't never like stop, but when I started, I could tell you alchemy is it's so much depth. It's so much. Like it's so much about alchemy. And alchemy is all about, what is it? Transmuting everything. You break everything down to the lowest chemical compounds. Everything can be broken down. And once you break something down, you can transform anything into alchemism is it's a lot. Okay, it's so interesting. It's a very interesting study.
But many of these scientists and their findings are funded by these royal elite institutions, which can be clearly identified through their coat of arms.
Now, speaking of being identified by their coat of arms, if you look at my United Nations video that I had did prior, you would see how the person or the woman who wrote, or who wrote the guidelines, or for the United Nations, she studied alchemists. She followed what was her name, Madame Levinsky or something like that, her name, and they were both of the same coat of arms, if you want to put it like that. They were part of the same little group. And so this the practice of alchemy and the alchemic practice, he's not lying when he says that it's studied by the elites. When I break down studies, or when I break down the laws that they're trying to give us, and when I speak to you guys and make videos about that, one of the reasons why I go deep into it like this is because I need you guys to all understand that all of this stuff is connected. Just like Katt said, everything comes full circle. Once you guys realize all of this stuff is connected, you'll be able to see what they have done, what they are doing, and what they're going to do in the future. That's why I do my videos like I do, or at least I try to. I try to, because you're good, sis. I got ADHD, you know what I'm saying? So I be trying. However, the people that are running the world today are the same people that that nothing has changed. Only thing that's changed for real is the clothes, and that really haven't changed, because fashion repeats itself, history repeats itself. So let's go back. I don't know how long we got for this. We only got a couple of more seconds. Let's finish this and then we'll go back.
Even if we trust the mainstream narrative and the level of technology presented for each age, we should always consider that the highest forms of technology would be guarded by the elite of its time. For example, something like the Ark of the Covenant. Perhaps this science didn't involve or depend on the need for modern machinery or electronics, but instead, it was an advanced occult art whose technique had been guarded for.
What happened? I don't know what happened. All right, so let's go to the next. Let's go back to
Really? That's what the Smurfs are based on?
So what two Smurfs do you think got together
about Smurf
and
lore.
had Smurfette? She was the only female of the Smurfs. So.
Now Gargamel made Smurfette, and Gargamel made Smurfette to go, and from my understanding, Gargamel got a male Smurf, transformed him into a female Smurf. That's how they made Smurfette. And she was supposed to go and like set up the Smurfs, but Papa Smurf turned her good. Gargamel does not have the power, or did not have the power, to turn her good. If you are only working on a negative frequency, a negative wave, you do not have what it takes to make something pure of heart. You know what I'm saying? So that is kind of what we're talking, what people, or not people, but you know what we talk about when we talk about, you know, like the Christian teachings, and how you have angels and how you have demons. And demons, they're demons. They can't become, well, they used to be angels, but they fell, right? And they want to make God's creation, but they can't, because they're missing that little that spirit, that soul. You can't make something that God created, because you don't have, or he doesn't have that what is that, like, you know, the Powerpuff Girls with that X. You don't have, he doesn't have that. And from what I had told you guys before, and from my understanding, they have been trying for a very long time. They can transfer consciousness, but they cannot create a new consciousness. They can't create a new soul. They can't create a new spirit. They can't create new life in the sense of a person that is good. They can create it in, you know, for someone to pretend to be good, but as far as a genuinely good-hearted person, and I do believe that there has been a lot of tries and a lot of errors. And that's where you maybe get dinosaurs. That's where you get the Titans. That's where you get a lot of the beings that was walking the earth, and probably still do, in a way. You know what I'm saying? It was trial and error. That's just me. That's what I'm thinking. That's just my assumptions. So let's go.
It's like, if you want flour, you need wheat. Like, you're gonna have to get the wheat. And if you want to be able to make movies about certain subjects, you have to be willing to work with some people that, you know, it'd be nice if you made it so that this is what we're trying to accomplish.
Telling these outlandish,
Right. But they're all kind of all saying the same thing. There's some higher power that comes and
Hold on,
gives
let me
you,
rewind it.
it's bots. It's crazy. Like,
the Ethiopian
6,000
tribe
yeah,
has the same.
Dogons.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
Like, no,
Crazy.
it's not. Yeah, but there is no craziness.
All right.
Everything lines up. The same grids.
Look at that. That is just nuts, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the conventional explanation for that is, because that Zechariah Sitchin guy who said all this stuff, he was often criticized. That people said that he took things too far, that his analysis went too far, and he just went into speculation. But god damn, a lot of the stuff that he was saying, like, you could see the implication in the actual tablets themselves. They show these gigantic beings with these little tiny people, like, sitting on their laps, and the people have tails. Have you seen those? It looks like genetic engineering.
Maybe it's a tail, maybe it's piping.
Right. What Jesus, right? It could be piping.
You understand
right.
what I'm?
Oh yeah, of
what
course
I'm saying
be,
is nobody's telling.
It was a tail. Genetic engineering. Hey, poo poo. And so if you guys watch my transhumanism video, I go more into depth about that. About the whole the Bible, and how, you know, they keep trying to make their humans, or their God's creation. And that's why there was a reset of the world. And that's why they're trying to do their version of the reset. I guess they feel now that if they do their version of the reset and, you know, they take some of the population out of the world, that, you know, the chosen ones won't come again and reset the world for real and make them go into hiding and whatsoever. But they're going to come. The chosen ones are going to come. They come every time. They're going to come again. They're going to reset the world again. And they're going to have to start over again. Or maybe this time is going to be permanent. I don't think they get another chance after this one. After this one, the earth is just going to end up like Mars, like the Mars reality. And, you know, they're just going to be extinct. They got off of the Mars, you know, a few of them got away from the Mars reality in time, but I don't think it's going to happen again. They know that their time is.
These outlandish,
right. But they're all kind of all saying the same thing. There's some higher power that comes and gives you structure, tells you what to do and how to live. And every society
information.
Information.
That's what they give you.
They give you information. Yeah.
Every story, every civilization, every time.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. And that's what we're all thirsty for. Right. You know? And what people
we're thirsty to monetize.
That's too. But also humans individually are thirsty for.
No. And this is why I'm looking at Katt. The average human is not always thirsty to monetize. The average human is hungry for knowledge. We want to know. We have a lot of questions and we really want to know. And when we do know, we want to share that knowledge so we can, you know, elevate our fellow humans. The average human, not just the average human, but the average good-hearted human, we understand that we have to work for the greater good. As much as we want to do self-preservation, that's not really in the charts. We have to work for the greater good. That's why when the fake system comes out, they're going to emphasize self-preservation more. Because if everybody is thinking about their self and is being very selfish, it won't be another reset. All right. So, something else that they talk about is the UFOs, y'all. And Joe says that it seems like the UFO come around when we're really messing up. Like when we about to make when we made big bombs or something like that, it seems like there's more UFO sightings. I was told, you know, once by one of my family members in the military that a lot of the UFOs that people see, it's military stuff. They've had a lot of like ships and stuff or you know, like planes that we would consider UFOs. Let's see what else. So they also spoke about communication and telepathy and relationship between humans and animals. I've told you guys a long time ago that these animals are starting to act real people-ish. I'm not going to hold you. So, and biblically, they talked about the Cain and Abel was a real story, and you actually can bring that into, you know, terms of today. You know, however, biblically, Cain and Abel is about two brothers. They're supposed to have the same mother and the same father, but I don't believe they had the same father. I don't. I believe that they had the same mother and they had different fathers. That's just me personally. I do believe that it is a metaphor for, you know, how a lot of people are, you know, acting in the world today. So they also said Sodom and Gomorrah is a real place. Yes, it is. You guys can Google it and look. They have actual coordinates. All right. So they spoke about Elon Musk and the chip that people are putting in their heads. I'm gonna do a whole video about that. But he spoke about how back in the day, if you was to tell them about the chip that Elon Musk is putting in people's heads today, that people would believe that that is the mark of the beast. And yes, they would believe that is the mark of the beast. However, people need to understand that the mark of the beast is not just that, it's a system. It's a beast system that will be put into place. It's not just the chip. The chip will be a part of it, but the chip is going to be, and again, the free will comes into play. It's not just you accepting the chip. The chip is going to be showing that you accept the system that has been and become a part of that system that has been put into place. And so they say that they also spoke about the city of Atlantis. I personally believe that Atlantis is not physical. And I believe, and they said they spoke about the Garden of Eden. I believe the city of Atlantis isn't physical. I don't think that that's something in this physical reality. And as far as the Garden of Eden, I don't believe that's physical either. I do believe Adam and Eve was the first genetically modified people. However, I don't believe the Garden of Eden is physical. I don't. I believe that is what is it? Can I say is it multidimensional? I believe it was on a dimension, on a different dimension. I do believe Atlantis was on a different dimension as well. They talk about the Dead Sea. So many things historically and biblically happened around the Dead Sea and the Red Sea. They said that, spoke about how the Dead Sea is called the Dead Sea because of the high salt content. And because like nothing really was able to live in it because of the high salt content. And so they talked about the universal creation story, about how all over the world, everyone has the same story of creation. That's because it's been plagiarized over and over and over again. And I have a timestamp. Let's see what they're talking about at this timestamp. Let me see. Right.
That's how we would know maybe there's no creator. But we don't go through our regular life seeing things and thinking nobody created it. Like that would be as weird as us being in this room going, nobody made those curtains, nobody made these cameras,
Right.
nobody made, like what? We never have evidence of that.
What do you think? Why do you think people have a reluctance to take in the idea of a creator? What do you think about it to them? There's some people that fancy themselves as intellectuals and they refuse to take in a concept for which there's no proof. And that's what they'll say. They use this very reductionist view of what God is. And they'll say there's no proof. And that, they're a staunch atheist. And a lot of them, they even talk like religious people. They almost, their atheism becomes a religion. Instead of being completely open-minded to the possibility that you have zero idea what happens when you die.
A lot of people that are atheists don't like God, and God would have to exist for them to not like. So
Let me comment on this real quick. If you take out all of the creation of man, first of all, I want to say a lot of things that men create is an imitation of what was already here. If you take everything away, if you take away the houses, if you take away everything and you just have us and the earth, we will survive because we was put on a planet to where we have everything that we need. Everything. A paradise. The paradise on earth is just us and the earth. and I'm going to say this also. If how can I put this? If an organism cannot survive here, if you just have the earth and them, then they're not organic to the planet. If you can't survive this planet and it's just you and the planet, no buildings, nothing with chemicals in it, just us in the wilderness. If you are not able to survive, then you're not organic to this place. We were put on a planet where everything that we need is here. Everything. We didn't really, all we had to do was make shelters, out of everything that was already here. We didn't really need to do much of anything else. And that to me is proof enough. It's intelligent. It's and if, especially if you look at everything in the numbers, 3, 6, 9, like it's the repetition. Look at snowflakes. Look at the patterns and look at the numbers in the world, in everything that we have naturally, organically. You can't tell me there's not intelligence in this. You can't just say that it just was happened. Oh, it's a happen. It is circumstance. It is happenstance. There's no way that there is not intelligence behind the creation. It's no way. And then look at how we're placed. We're placed to where we are perfectly, and a perfect port, from the sun. We're a perfect, amount of, area from the sun. And the moon, like they say on here, the moon, I do believe the moon is not real. I do believe it's like an artificial satellite. Y'all can argue all you want. Fight in the comments. But I do believe the moon is an artificial satellite. I don't think that it's real. I don't think that it's an organic thing. I do believe it was placed there. When and why, I don't know. But I do believe that it is not real. However, everything else was here for us. May it child. But I am going to do a little more research on the moon though. But I do believe that this moon that we have right now is not, it's not organic.
The whole thing is, if you were
Hey sis.
to believe in the Big Bang, you would have to believe that had happened several times throughout history, just because that's what we've seen from everything that's been created.
We don't see one individual unique thing that exists and is responsible for all things, except the Big Bang. That was what Terrence McKenna always said.
There's too much thought that went into certain things, like the fact that you can study all the butterflies and not one of them has a sense of humor. You know what I mean? But me and you do. And like it goes for all humans. If universally, if we see somebody trip and fall, we all laugh no matter what our back. Like there are certain
what's so crazy is that I understand Katt, like with this right here, because I get nervous. Like I can talk certain places, but sometimes I don't know what words to use. Like I can't think, and that's what it seems like what's going on with him is like he knows what he want to say, but he just don't know what word to use. And with me, I don't know if it's like that with him, but with me, it's like that because I know people watch me that probably haven't like read the books that I've read or have done the research that I've done. So if I just talk, a lot of people probably won't understand what I'm saying and they'll like lose interest or something. So I really like, I struggle with the words to use and I don't know what to say sometimes. So I just try to say less. You know, I try to say less. However, this was a good interview, y'all. This was a really good interview. It was a lot said and it was a lot not said. You know, some of the things that wasn't said was just as loud as the shit that they said. And I really like how they sat down and they put a lot of information out there. However, they really could have spoke a little more freely. But given the fact that I do understand that they are part of the system, they are part of the matrix. I'm not going to say that they're not. I'm not going to say that they're not. Given as though I do understand that they are part of the matrix, they're not going to say everything. A lot of times when people are a part of this, of what we like to call the matrix, they only say things that is already out there. They don't ever give anybody any new information. They don't, you know, tell people things that they can't look up and see. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you can tell when you're dealing with someone who's a part of it or you're dealing with someone who's not a part of it. Because somebody who's not a part of it, they're going to go and they're going to grab a book and they're going to be like, look, I don't know if you guys know this, but let me tell you guys what I've been researching and why I've got here. And, because a lot of things aren't on the internet anymore. When I first started researching and I first started down this whole rabbit hole, it was like in 2000, 2001, something like that. And so back then it was a lot more information that was out, that was free. Now it's a lot of things that are fact checked and told not to be true. Even though I remember when they said the New World Order was fake. I had my last channel and I had got strikes on my last channel for talking about the New World Order, trying to tell people about that. So, the information, they don't want certain information out until they feel it's too late for anybody to do anything about it. So, yeah, I just wanted to speak on this. I didn't want to be on here too long. Hey, guys. So, thank you so much for coming through. And I am going to go because it's been an hour. It's been an hour. And I am tired because your good sis had a nice long working day today. So, y'all have a blessed day. And I will talk to y'all later.